Good morning. What a glorious morning it is. I'm here to tell a story about a mortgage servicer. Now, usually I rail against mortgage servicers for being predatory and fraudulent and just generally just pains in the neck, and they are, but they're not always. Here's the situation. The client who hasn't paid in 8 years on a first mortgage. 8 years. It's a Fannie Mae loan. And the thing about Fannie Mae loans is that Fannie Mae servicers are not supposed to hold on to a Fannie Mae loan for more than 24 months in default. But the servicer screwed up. For some reason, they misplaced it on the books, and my client hadn't paid for 8 years. Now, Fannie Mae also has a requirement that the loans get modified under certain circumstances where the numbers work, and you don't really have to put in an application. And the details of that don't matter, but the point is I know what they are. And so we put in the application for the modification. And Fannie Mae at first said, and the servicer first said, no, there's 24 months in default. No, they're more than 24 months in default. We can't modify. But that is the wrong determination. We understand why they said it, because they're not, that servicer is a Fannie Mae servicer, so they never modify more than 24 months in default because they don't keep the loan on their books for more than 24 months in default, right? Makes sense. But the guidelines are not that they can't modify after 24 months. The guidelines are they can't keep the loan on their books for 24 months. For modification, it's totally different guidelines, and my client was entitled to it because it's still a Fannie Mae loan. Hope you're following. So we fell into a crack there, and Fannie Mae didn't know what to do, and the servicer didn't know what to do. So we sent a notice of error and threatened to file suit. So you know what happened? They sent a modification. But they sent it to my client directly through FedEx. No problem, right? Well, two problems. One, our notice to them at the beginning saying we represented our client said everything has to come to my firm. They didn't follow that instruction. That's a problem in this circumstance because my client lives in a place where porch pirates roam the territory, and some idiot stole the package on my client's doorstep, so he never got the modification. They sent the modification back in March. It's now start of September. So we were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. We finally sent a notice of error, and the bank came back and said, what are you talking about? We sent the modification and your client didn't sign it. That's an interesting problem, isn't it? So we sent another notice of error and another threat to file suit because they violated the instruction of not communicating directly only with us. And if they'd sent the modification application directly to my firm, this loan would have been modified 6 months ago. Yesterday, I got a call. This was escalated from the last notice of error. This was escalated up to a level that I generally don't reach. And the guy called me and said, look, I run this whole modification department here. Tell me what happened. And I did. He said, I read your notice of error. That's a really interesting problem. Tell me what happened. Did it really get stolen from the doorstep? I'm like, yeah, my guy would have signed that in a second. It makes total sense. He goes, okay. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to send out another modification package. I'm going to direct my staff to send it directly to you on behalf of your client. He's got to sign it, send it back, and start paying. We'll just have it starting next month. Wow. And the reason why we got there is because I understand how RESPA works. And that's an example of how RESPA works. You know, we send the request for information to find out what the situation is in the loan. And then when they screw up, we send a notice of error. And sometimes you have to file suit, but sometimes your notice of error, when it's drafted the way it needs to be drafted so people know what's going on at the servicer, you can actually get things done. And this is a wonderful result. And honestly, this servicer screwed up twice, took ownership, and my client's going to keep his house because of it. And so on that happy news, I'm going to leave you with a video of my two dogs, if you can see them, Toby and Bailey. Release. Yeah, they're not moving. All right. Anyway, thank you.